everyone. My name is Mayelin Arriola, and I have a very special guest today, Dr. Silverman. How are you, Dr. Silverman?
Terrific. How are you?
Special chiropractor.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Terrific. Absolutely terrific, and looking forward to giving a lot of very, very important information to the public.
Absolutely. And we have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
The first one is, what rights does someone have in the state of Florida after an accident?
Well, Florida is called a no-fault state. What that means is that it doesn't matter if you or the other person gets the ticket. You have the right to get treatment. You have a minimum of $10,000 of medically necessary treatment. You can get your lost wages reimbursed. You can get transportation costs reimbursed. And you have the right to an attorney. So you have a lot of rights in the state of Florida if you've been involved in an accident and if you've been injured.
Okay, and if I were a passenger in a car and I don't have, I'm not the owner of the car and I don't have insurance.
Right.
Do I have right for the treatment?
Absolutely. In a lot of cases, we have patients that come to us and either they were sitting next to the driver or they were sitting in the back seat and they don't have a car and they don't have any insurance, but they are covered by the insurance of the driver. So they have the right also to come in and receive a minimum of $10,000 worth of treatment if it's medically necessary, and they have all the same rights as the person who has the insurance.
Great. And if a person has already been seen by another doctor, can they switch clinics if they choose to?
Absolutely. This is something that happens quite often, where somebody goes to a specific doctor, whether it be a chiropractor or orthopedist or a neurologist or wherever, and they're not happy with the results that they're getting. They have the right to switch and go to any licensed physician they want in the state of Florida.
And the very, very specific question that most people are worried about, will my rates go up? My insurance rates go up if I seek treatment?
Well, that is a very important question, because I would say if you were to ask me what the number one reason is that somebody does not go to the doctor and get treatment even when they've been injured, is because they have a fear that their insurance rates are going to go up. And by law in the state of Florida, if you are not at fault in the accident, your rates cannot go up. And in most cases, even if the accident is your fault, the rates are not going to go up. That's why they call it a no-fault state.
No-fault state. And what is the difference between your treatment and other doctors' treatments?
Well, first of all, I have 35 years of experience. I'd like to believe that that makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
Okay, we do not only chiropractic, but we do physical therapy and rehabilitation, and we work very closely with all of the top specialists in town when it's necessary. And also we have a really good working relationship with a lot of different lawyers in town. So whatever you need, we have available at our office. The chiropractic, many different techniques, a lot of different types of exercise, a lot of types of rehabilitation. We have a complete array of different types of treatment depending on the type of problem that the person has and also how old the person is. If the person is older, they're going to need one type of technique.
Specific type of treatment.
If they're very young, it's going to be completely different, because we treat people 1 or 2 or 3 years old and we treat people 100 years old.
Personalized treatment is
Right.
what it's all about. Perfect. And if I get a ticket, I'm obviously at fault. Do I have right for treatment?
Well, first of all, let me disagree with you on one point. And that is that just because you got the
You're
ticket
not obviously at
does
fault.
not mean that you are at fault.
We have to go fight it in court, though.
Well, yes, but unfortunately, I have found in a very high percentage of the cases where people get the ticket and they didn't deserve it. Okay, and that's why there's so many ticket attorneys out there who are getting people getting rid of their tickets for them because they were giving it to them by mistake. It has to be determined by the insurance companies at the end as to who is at fault. And from what I understand, I'm not a lawyer, but from what I understand, that a ticket is not even admissible in court.
Right, see, right. And I think you've answered this already, but let's reiterate. What is the advantage of going to see you versus someone else?
Well, again, the experience that I have is very important, because if you have a back problem or a neck problem and you go to a doctor, that's one thing. But if your injury is a result of an accident, you need somebody with experience in this area. You need somebody who knows how to write reports to the insurance companies.
Right.
You need to have somebody who, if it's necessary, can testify in court, who has a lot of experience in documenting the chart, because documentation is very, very important when somebody's been involved in an accident. So there's a lot of advantages of coming to an office like mine, where basically a very high percentage of the patients I treat are people who've been injured in accidents.
A quick break to give you some information.
Had an accident? Why call Silverman? After 35 years of experience working with the most experienced specialists and attorneys, this is very important when you've been involved in an accident. And remember, you have a minimum of $10,000 for necessary treatment, and you can recover your lost wages. I want to help you. Give me a call, 305-595-9920, 305-595-9920.
I understand you have more than one location though. And do you have transportation?
Yes, and that's a very important point, because what happens in a lot of cases is that people get involved in accidents and then they don't have a car.
Right.
So they're injured,
they can't go
but
get
they
treatment.
can't go get the treatment they need. So yes, we have transportation, and we have an office in Homestead, we have the office in Miami, we have an office in Hollywood, and we have an office in Oakland Park. And we have transportation at each of those offices. So we make it really easy that if somebody's been injured in an accident and they want my treatment, they want to get our care, we make it available to them.
You've covered all the areas to be available to everyone.
Well,
that's great. That's wonderful, really. And one more question here. If I have, if my insurance tells me that I can't seek any more treatment, but I still have pain, what is it that I'm supposed to do? Can I still seek treatment?
Well, first of all, in a lot of cases, when people do get the ticket and they think they're at fault, they don't realize they can still get the treatment. And the insurance companies, in many cases, will tell them, oh, no, you don't want to go to the doctor. You're going to, you were at fault. And they try and scare them, tell them your rates are going to go up. And they try and scare them out of getting the treatment they need. So that's one reason that people don't go. The other is that the insurance companies have the right at some point to send you to what they call an independent examination. I myself do independent examinations for a lot of different insurance companies. But in reality, in many cases, the insurance doctor or the independent doctor will cut off your treatment. But to cut off your treatment after just one visit, it doesn't really hold up too well. And so I got to tell you that in our office, even if somebody has been cut off by an independent examination, if I feel it's necessary, I'm going to continue to treat the patient, and then we'll leave the rest to the attorney to fight it out with the insurance company.
That's right. Good. Well, good to know. If I were a passenger in a car, and this car is involved in a car accident, the driver doesn't have insurance, and the other car doesn't have insurance. What am I supposed to do? Do I seek treatment? I have pain.
Absolutely. And the law in Florida is very convoluted. And it's possible, for example, that you don't have any insurance, the driver doesn't have any insurance, but somebody in your house has insurance. And believe it or not, that insurance could cover your treatment.
Oh, wow.
So my recommendation is that if you've been involved in an accident,
seek treatment.
Seek treatment, and then we have a lot of different lawyers who we work with in the South Florida area, and talk to the lawyer and let the lawyer investigate as to whether or not you do or will not be able to be covered, because I've seen a lot of cases where we didn't think there would be any coverage and it turned out there is, and vice versa.
Right. What about children? If there are children in a car accident, does it matter how old they have to be in order to seek treatment? How do we approach this as parents?
That's a good question, because it's, first of all, for most of us, our children are more important
Obviously.
than our own lives.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, yet when it comes to this, a lot of times when the kids are involved in an accident, they're not brought in because they're not complaining a lot at the beginning, because they're more flexible. But the truth is that what happens is younger people, the spine the vertebrae within the spine can move out of alignment. You may not have a lot of pain at that moment, but later on down the road, that can turn into a very severe problem, including scoliosis. Exactly.
Absolutely.
And that's why it's so important. I mean, that's why I always tell my patients, listen, just bring your child in and let me examine your child.
Check it out.
And if everything is okay, then terrific, everything will be fine. But if it's not, usually with kids, they can be fixed a lot easier and a lot faster
While
than
they're
older
developing,
people. Exactly.
right. Very important. How much time does someone have to hand in a claim? Most people think that too much time has gone by and that it's not good anymore.
No, you have a lot of time, and in a lot of cases, what happens with people is they expect their problem to go
get
away.
better. Mm-hmm.
And so we have a lot of patients that come in to see us after 2 or 3 or 4 months of treatment, and I'm sorry, 2 or 3 or 4 months of not receiving
right.
treatment. And when I ask them, why did you wait so long? They say to me, well, I was taking Tylenol or Advil or ibuprofen.
Self-medication.
And I was expecting it would go away. And not only didn't it go away, but it got worse. And then one night at about 3 o'clock in the morning, I saw Dr. Silverman on television, and I decided I better go see him. And so they come in, they see me, and sure enough, the injuries are from the accident. In so many cases, people have things knocked out of alignment, and over time, because things are out of alignment, the nerves become more and more and more inflamed. So it may take a month or 2 or even longer before it turns into pain, and then all of a sudden they start getting numbness or tingling or cramping in their arms or legs.
This is the famous pinched nerve situation.
Right, we call it subluxation. Mm-hmm. We have a chart in our office, it's called the silent killer, because for a long time it's silent before you start to feel something, and all of a sudden one day you can't stand up.
Right.
And
there it is.
There it is.
Okay, and my last question to you, the car accident situation. If you're in a store and you fall, can you seek treatment?
Absolutely. I don't know, most people, I don't know if they really understand that almost all stores cover insurance for your treatment. So whether there's a lawsuit or not, in many cases, the insurance from the store will cover your treatment. But as long as you report your accident when you fall, that's the most important thing, for them to put it on the record that you actually fell and injured yourself, and then after that you can seek treatment. And if it turns out that the store did something wrong and they're liable, then you would get an attorney involved. And we get involved in all of that. We try and help the patient on every level, whether they need an attorney. We know lots of attorneys, like I was saying, after 35 years.
Right.
We know if they need specialists. We know top orthopedic surgeons in town. Whatever you need, we'll be able to help you get to where you need to get.
Okay, well, this has been super, super interesting, informative for me and for everyone out there. It's important to know, important to seek treatment, and that's what I got out of it. Would you like to say some final words?
Yes, and this is just important because a lot of people will watch this show and they'll say, wow, that sounds just like me. But they got to take the action step. And the action step is you got to get on the phone and make the phone call and make the appointment. Like I said, we have transportation, we have 4 offices. There really isn't any reason in the world that you should not at least come in and get yourself examined and determine whether or not you have a problem.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Silverman. Thank you for your time and thank you for all your answers.
My pleasure.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Bye. Had an accident? Why call Silverman? After 35 years of experience working with the most experienced specialists and attorneys, this is very important when you've been involved in an accident. And remember, you have a minimum of $10,000 for necessary treatment, and you can recover your lost wages. I want to help you. Give me a call, 305-595-9920, 305-595-9920.